I'm here to share some stories from my own personal journey, and hopefully that will share how that has helped define me and define my life. Okay? So, in 2001, we moved back to the US. We actually moved to California because actually I moved with Motorola to Schaumburg, but because the schools were better for my children in the Bay Area, we moved there. And because Motorola was in Illinois, I quit that, and here we were. Now we had to figure out what we were going to do. We then took up a franchise of Closet Factory, and that was a completely new territory. And what Closet Factory was is in the business of designing, manufacturing, and installing custom closets, home offices, entertainment centers for people in their homes. Now, far cry from being an entrepreneur in the software space, where I was very comfortable, I had the skills, to no skills with which to do this work. What do I do? It required really manufacture and selling of home furniture. And because selling is an important part of the revenue generation, Venkat, my husband, said, "Why don't you try your hand at sales?" And I goes, "No way. I'm not going to go and sell. I'm very happy sitting in my cubicle or my office safely behind my computer. But going to people's homes and trying to do custom stuff and selling? No." But anyway, he convinced me. He said, "Go," and I did. And I thought I did a very good job. I made a good rapport, I thought, with the customer. Came back to the factory, and I told him, maybe I will close it in the next visit. And he got a call from the customer. The customer told him, "Don't ever send that salesperson back to my home again. She's very pushy, and she's only interested in selling." After that feedback, I announced, no more sales. I'm just sitting in the office and doing other stuff, but sorry, no selling. And somehow he convinced me that selling is not really about making a sale, but about solving customers' problems. Oh, okay, so that's a very different scenario. So anyway, there I was, armed again with my kit of, but once I understood this concept, that selling was really about solving your customers' problems, the world changed for me. And I was very happy going to customers and solving their problems, and they were very happy to have me as a designer. In fact, after so many years, I still get calls sometimes from my customers saying, "You're my designer for life. When are you going to be in the Bay Area? Can you help design this part?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not there. I'm here. I'm busy." But that's the kind of thing it was. And here I was thinking I would never be able to do sales. And the next year, I did more than $1 million worth of sales, working not even full-time. And that was kind of a record in the system. Thank you. Unless we really try something, even if we fail, even if we get negative feedback, perhaps there's hope. So falling down is okay, but picking yourself up is important. Now, where did I get the strength for doing something like that? Well, way back when I was 14, my father passed away. Ours was a middle-class family with one wage earner. So my mother was extremely stressed because now she has to raise 3 children, a 14-year-old me, and a 10 and a 4-year-old, my brothers. And my family were telling her, send your daughter to a 3-year diploma, a polytechnic, so that she can start earning quickly. And she was extremely pressured. I said, no. I am going to be an engineer, as I discussed with Daddy. So here I was. I joined the intermediate, but I had my fears. I had my demons. And I was wondering, I was having a lot of self-doubt. Are we going to make it? What's going to happen? And then I also got a book on palmistry. I was very busy looking at my palm, all the lines in it, and trying to find out the mysteries of what it held for me in the future. And the more I read, the more bleak it sounded, my future. Finally, I just threw away the book and I said, I am going to make myself a wonderful life. I am going to be awesome. And nobody is going to stop me, least of all me. And that's where I started, and it wasn't easy. So I would get up in the morning at 4 a.m. Previously, I would be waking up all night and sleeping in the classes. Now I was trying to sleep at night, following the principles I learned growing up. And then in the mornings, I would listen to some nice music, which I loved, and doing math problems. If I was supposed to solve 10 problems, I would solve 20. And then I kept pushing myself to work hard because I'd gotten a seat in the college, even though I didn't have what they call composite math. But my mom said, she will not let you down, Mrs. Rigo, the principal. And I did not let her down. So I topped the intermediate, got a state rank, got a state scholarship. And that whole time was indeed very interesting because I took tuitions so as to be able to pay and earn my way through college. I started wearing my mom's saris because then I don't have to spend for my own wardrobe. I used to travel 2 hours each way by bus, train, and walk to get to my college so that I could make sure that I'm not spending more time sitting in the hostel when my mom was there. But it all paid off, right? And then on to engineering, I kept my goal very clear. I said, I'm going to work hard right from day one, and I'm going to be the best every day. And so there was, came first every year, was gold medalist. But more importantly, I learned a lot of different things. And I had a most wonderful group of friends that were my classmates and friends who are still friends today. And one of them is my life partner too, for which I'm very, very thankful. This being said, all of these lessons that have been learned have sort of instilled into me. And I said, how am I using these things in my life? Now, we came back to India in the early 90s. I'd done a startup. And then when I was doing the startup, obviously we were working with the US. You're working late because you're making product deliveries and software deliveries. And you all know how that is. And the time you spend with children, zilch. So when I sold that company, I said to myself, I'm going to take a year off, and I'm going to be spending more time with my children so that I can then do things with them. And it was at this time that I had a headhunter knocking on my door saying, Motorola wants to start up a software center in Hyderabad. Would you be interested in heading that? So I said to myself, when we take the decision in our own hands and we take ownership of our own life, opportunity knocks. And if you help yourself, the world is coming to help you. I then said, okay, I'm going to be the founding director of Motorola Software Center. I used the ideas of what I had learned till then and created this workshop and culture that said taking ownership and teaming for excellence. And we did that, and we achieved SEI CMM Level 5 back in '99 in record time in Hyderabad, one of the first companies to do that in Hyderabad. These lessons have then played an important role for me throughout. So in the last 8 years too, as I've been doing outreach education, I've used these ideas in building my team and reaching out to teachers and training them as well. So there's been this running thread of how you actually go about doing things. And so fast forward now at IIIT, I've been sitting and doing all this outreach education, reaching out to these teachers, and I am so excited when teachers and other people and students have come forth and said, now I'm going to take ownership of this, and I'm going to do this. I'm not going to sit back and do whatever. So it's great. And with that aspect, now the real question is, can we all do this? Can we all just take ownership of our circumstances? They may be external or they may be internal. But we cannot deal with external circumstances unless we fight our own demons internally. I want to share a couple of examples which you may know very recently of very inspiring women. Nirja Bhanot, this woman at the age 21, she had faced a very abusive marriage. She had the strength to then walk away from that, build her own new career in modeling, a flamboyant career, and also as an air hostess. And then she also went on to do remarkable things, a show of courage. So here are examples of, another is Arunima Sinha, who by accident of fate lost her leg and became an amputee, and then decided that because she was a sportswoman, now she's going to scale the Mount Everest. And she actually did, and now she's going and doing many, many more. So what does this tell us? When we are faced with not such dire circumstances, can we not shake off from that comfort zone, step out of it, and then be something that we really can be? Can we not do that? What do you say? Can we have a show of hands here? Who thinks they can step out? Awesome. Love that. One of the things that really charges me up, which I felt fate had dealt, a bad hand, because I couldn't continue my dance when my father passed away due to financial and other constraints. So I said to myself, what am I waiting for? I can learn now. So this is what it is. I was thinking first, I must lose weight, then I can learn dance. And then I must, get better health, then I can learn Veena. And I told myself, I'm not following my own advice. I'm not owning my circumstances. I'm not taking ownership of my life. So what I'm doing, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm dancing, and that is helping me lose weight. And I'm losing weight, so it's helping me in my health, and therefore I can play Veena. So I'm doing all of the above and having a ball. And Thank you. And continuously evolving myself to be the person that I can be. We can keep on unshelling ourselves and finding the new me continuously. And this is the opportunity. And I'd love to share a quote from Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light and not our darkness that most frightens us. Isn't that amazing? Just think about that. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? And the question we should ask ourselves is, who am I not to be? Right? As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. This is where I hope that we can go. And this is where I really hope that we can use our intuition. I have listened to my intuition, and a lot of times it says, it only points me the next step. Do I dare take the next step? I don't know what's going to happen all the way, and I don't know where it's going to lead me, but I will take that next step. And then when I take that next step, the fog mysteriously clears. And then the next step becomes visible. Then I take that next step until I am doing something fascinating. If we can take ownership, if we can own all our circumstances, the good, the bad, the external, the internal, and then say, we are stepping into our greatness. We are stepping into what we are possible for, what we are capable of doing. This is what I have to share.